Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Nick, and the video you're about to see is from the Q&A section of a panel that I held at Indiana Comic-Con a couple weeks ago. So I was at the Comic-Con. First, I held a panel on the Friday, and for the rest of the weekend, I had a booth set up, basically just selling some general merchandise as well as meeting great fans such as yourselves in person and taking pictures and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I also blog the entire event on the website that is newly created, so it goes day by day. Tara wrote a blog basically talking about everything we did at the event, and as well we posted an article on some of the best cosplay that we saw while we were there. So for the first half of the panel, I just talked about turning YouTube into my profession, a video game career, kind of my step-by-step journey through it, as well as offering some advice to newcomers, and then I followed that with this Q&A that you're about to see. So I've placed a timeline in the description, so if there are specific questions that more interest you and you do not want to watch the entire video, you can check out the timeline in the description. And as well, if you are in the Florida area, I will also be attending Comic-Con in Tampa Bay, where I will be basically doing the exact same thing. So if you're in the area and you feel that you want to come and meet me in person and say hi, definitely check out Indiana Comic-Con in August. But on that, thank you guys so much for your support. Enjoy the Q&A. Hopefully some of you guys find it interesting and entertaining. And as always, like I said, thank you guys so much for your support, and I shall see you guys next time, all right? As always, have a wonderful day. So my take-home message for you guys is that it's still important to get a formal education, high school, college, university, because like I said earlier, there's really no guarantee that, unless you're obviously, if you went to school for content creation, then you probably have a leg up on everyone else. But because there's no roadmap, there's really no guarantee for success for a YouTube channel. So still go to school. Don't drop out of school. Just say I'm going to drop out of school to make YouTube videos. Don't do that. That's not what I recommend to you guys at all. Make videos for your personal enjoyment. Make videos that you want to watch, because that makes the journey a lot easier. If you're making videos that you are personally proud of and that you personally would watch yourselves, it's a more gratifying experience. And learn from others. Never stop learning. Learning from the people who came before you, and people who keep after you, who are maybe doing a better job than you. There's always someone out there that's going to be doing a better job than you at doing something. It's just a fact of life, and you can always just try to learn from them. And don't feed the trolls. Have thick skin, and don't try to get into an angry conversation with someone that you've never met over the internet. It doesn't help anyone, except for the trolls. We'll take questions now. Go ahead.
So I guess one of the things I want to know about, one of the big infamous things with YouTube is that first strike you get, how then your time limit is cut and they put a whole lot of restrictions on you.
Yep.
How well are you protected in an MCN against things like that?
Personally, myself, I'm actually very well protected. Strikes used to be like the absolute worst thing that could happen to a channel. They were extremely difficult to remove. My first strike, it wasn't removed for a year afterwards. I posted like a Final Fantasy video, and at that time Square Enix was really anal about their videos online. And then for the rest of you who don't know, after 3 strikes, your channel is just permanently terminated. It's gone. It's like it never existed. So initially, strikes were something that were a very, very bad thing. Gradually, channels have kind of moved away from strikes now. Companies have generally moved away from strikes. What happens now is that instead of strikes, they hand out content ID claims. So that basically just means that you can't monetize your video and make money on it. So we kind of veered away from strikes. Generally these days, you only get strikes for if you post something very egregious on YouTube, such as you post like a movie or something, or you post something that violates YouTube's terms of service, such as racism, blatant violence or hate towards homophobia or type of thing, homophobic things or things of that nature. But nowadays, strikes are actually fairly easy to get removed if you are associated with an MCN. I have no experience what it's like if you're not associated with MCN, because I've never had to deal with it before. I've had I've had a copyright claim come, and then I contacted my MCN, and then it was removed in like 3 hours, just because it was a mistake for some reason. I have no idea why. And yeah, so and that's one of the main benefits of having an MCN is that they make things a lot easier to work with Google. Google likes MCNs in the sense that they don't want every single person with a YouTube channel constantly bombarding them with hate and questions and stuff like that. So that's the main benefit, which is why they're taking a portion of your money that's to act as that buffer. So yeah. Go ahead.
Did you approach Machinima or did they approach you?
They approached me. So the question is, was I approached by Machinima or did they approach me? So when I was making videos, I was making Call of Duty videos. I was actually making pretty high quality ones in terms of like production quality. And they approached me saying, at that point when I started, you couldn't actually make money on your personal channel. What happened is you would submit videos to Machinima and they would post it on their channel. And then they would make money and then they would send you a cut. It was the biggest scam. It was the biggest scam ever. But eventually we evolved to where you could actually make videos or make money on your own videos. So they approached me via an email. I think what happened was one of the major Call of Duty YouTubers at the time, his name was Hutch. He saw one of my videos. He liked it a lot. And then he said, and he was associated with Machinima, and they basically he said, I like this guy's content, offer him a contract, and it's kind of like the rest is history, basically. Yeah.
With the MCNs, and as you said, they take a cut. Are they there, and do they really pay for themselves, or is it more just a feeling of security, and it's just like every once in a while they'll protect you from certain incidents and so on?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm, like, especially if you're running a gaming channel where you're dealing with a sticky situation, everyone probably out there knows that Let's Plays and video games on YouTube are kind of in this weird spot where people don't know if they actually are fair use or they're in between copyright strikes and stuff. If you're a channel if you're like a vlogger and that's all you do is vlog, and literally all you do is everything that you do is in front of the camera, and you have no issues of someone claiming copyright on your face, then it's less advantageous to have an MCN. But if you're a channel that focuses on gaming, I would say it's almost a necessity. Because if you don't, your videos are just going to get claimed, then you can't make money on those videos. And as well, they provide a lot of opportunities as well, and deals with publishers, deals with a lot of other companies. I know Fullscreen does a lot of promos with their partners where they will say, if you place this ad in your video, you'll get this much amount of money. So it's extra opportunities and revenue for yourself. And for me, my channel, like from personal experience, if I didn't have an MCN, my channel would not exist today. When I say that, what I mean is that within my third year of doing YouTube, my channel actually got hacked. So I lost all control of my YouTube channel, and I couldn't log in, I couldn't make videos, and someone was impersonating me, uploading videos of profane and uploading them with profane thumbnails of like penises and stuff like that. And then obviously if that happens, that's against YouTube's terms of service, right? So, but at that point, Machinima was already in contact with YouTube, and YouTube wasn't really willing to contact individual people. And they basically said, yeah, it's obvious the channel's been hacked. He went from uploading gameplay to uploading pictures of penises. Obviously there's a disconnect there, right? So if I didn't have an MCN, like I said, there's probably a chance that my channel wouldn't exist today. You have a second part?
Yeah. With people and like video cammering them and putting them on YouTube, what is against and not against the law when it comes to that?
So your question is like if you're like a vlogger and stuff like that, yeah, and what's the legality of posting a video of someone else online and making money off that? Personally, I don't have that much experience with it because I'm a gamer in general. I think that a safe thing to do is if you are a vlogger and that's your thing, maybe mention to the people beforehand that this is going to go up on YouTube. If you're doing it at events, such as Comic-Con or PAX, It's usually written to the terms of service of them actually attending, saying if by attending PAX, you are willingly giving people ability for yourself to be photographed, videotaped, and all that type of stuff. So if you're at like an event, I think you're usually safe. If you're kind of like out there in the wild, especially if you are, I think another sticky point is if you are videotaping someone below the age of 18, then they need their parents' permission, obviously, for you to post a video of them online. If they're like in the background of not really doing anything, I think that's okay. But if they're like front and center of your video, then you probably should get their parents' permission to do so. It's kind of like that. If they're like a bystander, it'll be okay. But if they're like actually having a part in the video, then you probably need some sort of permission. Once again, I don't have much experience with it just because I'm not a blogger. But that's a good question. I'll probably look into that afterwards. And then, go ahead.
So I actually do have YouTube Red subscription.
Yeah.
Like Google for Music.
Yeah.
I guess I always wondered, do you get better revenue sharing through that? I was assuming that maybe.
So, YouTube Red was dropped in the laps of users and content creators without any sort of announcement whatsoever. It just came out of the blue, even though it's red. So I get like a little mark, a little message. When I go to my analytics view, how much I make for the month, I get a separate box saying how much I make for YouTube Red. And personally right now it's like nothing. So it's like $30.
They don't list the cents per view then?
They could. Because it's so insignificant at this point, haven't dove that deep into it. $30 is something, it's like whatever, it's $30. So it's like, yeah. So my answer to your question is I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
I see a lot of YouTubers monetizing outside of the advertising model.
Yeah.
Linus Tech Tips goes through things like selling merchandise, for instance.
Oh, okay.
Or selling ad space.
Yeah.
Is that something that you find a lot of gamers might have having to do, or is that a space they can get into?
Here's the thing with that. The YouTube gaming sphere is a lot more volatile than other spheres on YouTube. That's based on demographics, because generally people who watch gaming YouTuber videos are a bit younger. So it's very easy for a channel that runs on tech. Like I love Linus Tech Tips. I watch it every single week. It's actually one of the few YouTube. I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos these days just because I spend so much time on the platform. But I watch Linus Tech Tips since he was still at NCIX. So it's easy for him, especially to place in video ads that cannot be blocked. He gets a certain amount of money because the companies say, we want this many ads placed on your videos and we're going to pay you this much. And they can't be blocked by like ad block or anything. It's easy for him to do that just because of the nature of the videos he makes. As of right now, I don't know of many of the large YouTubers who place in video ads because I think someone's waiting for someone else to take that step. I personally am waiting for someone else to dive in. I've gotten offers before to do in-video ads on my videos, but I just say no because I don't want to be the first one to see what the reaction would be from people. So it's, that's how I usually approach YouTube. I wait for someone else to do it to see how people react to it. But it's kind of, for a while there, YouTube was losing actually a lot of money. Large companies to come directly to them say, we want these ads on this channel. But they obviously take their cut, which is not great. So they were kind of getting really antsy for a while and angry that companies were just going directly and cutting them out of the equation. And they tried to institute a policy where you couldn't do that. Once again, going back to the issue of YouTube's ever-changing policy. So they tried to prevent that from happening, but I think he probably ran into a lot of legal resistance as well. I don't personally know if they can actually do that legally, if they can say you can't do that because it's your channel, you can say whatever you want. It's your voice. So it's one of those things where you're still waiting to see if YouTube stays up to date with the times and all that kind of stuff. Did I answer your question at all, or? Yeah. Pretty much, pretty good.
Is there any YouTube video like field or genre, I guess I don't know what you call it, that you besides the, hateful, whatever.
No, you can do like I said earlier, you can do anything on YouTube and be successful doing it. There's this one channel that just popped up where the hosts, all they do is one's dressed up as Elsa and the other one's dressed up as Spider-Man, and they just do skits every single day. And then it's basically just exploded within the last year. There's a channel, like I said earlier, that focuses on all they do is they just squish stuff in hydraulic press. So that's all they do. And then I think the weirdest channel that I've ever seen is a channel where they just make noise into a microphone. Like people like listening to like the rubbing of your fingers like this, and people just sit there and listen to that. I think it's called ASF or something, audio sensory something, or like the brushing of like a beard into a microphone. It's the weirdest thing. So like I said, there is no limits to what type of YouTube channel you can make and it'd be successful, so long as you carve out that audience that people are weird people. People like all sorts of things, and like I said, the only limit is your imagination of what type of YouTube channel you want to create. Yep.
With YouTube being an entertainment, I would say mostly, it's got a lot of uses. I mean, multiple. But does it clash like Netflix does with cable? There's like some kind of company feud going on or something.
Not that. I'm not. That's more of a corporate question. I have no. I'm just a dude who sits in my room playing video games, right? So I can't answer that on behalf of YouTube. I'm a nobody basically in their eyes, just a weirdo who's just playing video games for a living. I think that's just to answer your question a bit there. I think that's kind of what YouTube Red is about. YouTube Red, it's ad free, obviously. I think it's one of the major things, but they also have. PewDiePie has like a mini series as well on the platform, which is kind of like their version of like Orange is the New Black. Those are like series exclusive to their platform. So that's kind of what YouTube's kind of doing to counter the whole Netflix thing.
And small point, with the YouTube Red, that is like still securing your payments or whatever, like whatever you make, you still make money,
Oh yeah, with YouTube, that's what everyone was kind of like I said earlier, YouTube Red was just like dropped on the creator's lap, so no one had an idea exactly what it meant. People thought that they were only going to make money off YouTube Red and stuff. Basically, nothing has changed from a content creator side. I basically have been making I make the same amount, and then plus that extra $30 that we talked about earlier through YouTube Red, which I still don't understand how I make, but that's because I just don't. I don't understand how I'm getting paid from YouTube Red, but I just am apparently. And yeah, so it hasn't changed really anything in terms of how much money I make in a year. Yeah.
How is the rift between, I guess, game streamers and Nintendo right now? I hear it's not great.
It's something that I get. Nintendo is actually, it's a weird company. It's a weird company. I think that's the nicest thing I can say.
That's the nicest thing.
There's a real disconnect between Nintendo of North America and Nintendo of Japan. The people I contact with Nintendo of America, they are great. Anytime I need, I want a game or something, or I need an appointment at E3, the people I talk with are awesome. Everything runs very, very smoothly. But the problem is they are a Japanese-based company, so their policies of making that you can't claim videos on YouTube, even though that was temporary, that originates in Japan. And whatever the parent company says, the subsidiary has to abide with. It's become a lot easier, despite what people think on the news, especially since my channel is a managed system or channel. My videos don't get sent through a scanning system, so my videos usually don't get flagged for copyright. So it's become a lot easier as of late, and I think they tried to introduce a shared revenue program that really never took off, and they took a lot of heat for. But as of lately, it's been not really anything worth mentioning. So, which is a good thing. No news is good news. So it's been a lot easier as of late. Yeah.
So this is super pie in the sky future stuff, but how do you see the future of trying to demo or show off VR things like Rift?
I just got back from a trip in San Francisco, Burbank, California, where I was at Insomniac Studios, and I recorded a game called Edge of Nowhere. What I did is I just did a face cam. I don't know exactly what the standard will be yet for VR gameplay on YouTube. It actually wasn't that difficult. I think the main problem with VR is that it's hard to translate the person's experience into a video, because VR games are generally, they're not as graphically intense, and that's, people don't want to see a low polygon count game on YouTube, right? So
You got Minecraft.
you got Minecraft, yeah, that's true.
Well, plus most YouTubers use the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, so it's the thing with VR, it's a very experience-centric thing. If you like it, it's probably because you personally like it, but people aren't, unless the game is really, really cool, people aren't going to gravitate to, I could be wrong though, I could be absolutely wrong. But right now because there are no really great games out there, VR is really difficult to translate to the audience of how good it is, just because it's based on the person's experience and if they like VR or not. We'll be playing it, and more recently I started doing reviews for my games as well that I play, and I've been posting them to my brand new website, which I actually also am blogging this entire week. So I'll be blogging my entire experience on my website, which is tetraninja.com. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for coming out. If you asked a question today, come up to me and I will give you a free lanyard if you ask the question. And hopefully you guys have a good rest of your con. And if you see me on the show floor or at my stand, feel free to stop, say hi, have a picture. And other than that, I wish everyone a good rest of the con and safe travels home wherever you came from. Thank you.